This is a review of case endings thus far. Sorry about that. The two case endings we've covered so far are the nominative, or in Latin, casus nominativus, which is generally speaking the subject of a sentence where in English would be the subject first, then verb, then the object. The accusative, in Latin, the casus accusativus, is generally speaking the object. As you see here, subject, verb, object. The object follows the verb. It also is a case that follows a preposition. So the first word with a case ending is Troianorum. For now, you only need to know that orum means of the whatever this part of the word means. So in this case, of the Trojans. Pauci. Pauci, here are the various forms of the word that means few, paucus, paucum. So in this schema, this is nominative, accusative singular, nominative, accusative plural. Okay. So from this grouping, you can see that pauci is nominative and therefore subject. Urbem. Nominative singular is urbs. The accusative is urbem. So it's accusative singular. That means it's the direct object, as you would have here. If the word before it were a preposition such as in urbem or ad urbem, into the city, or to the city, up to the city, it would be not the direct object, but the object of one of these two prepositions. Ardentem is an adjective. The nominative singular would be ardens. The accusative is the form you see here, ardentem. Ardentem. So if the city were the subject, urbs, and it were burning, it would be ardens, the burning city. But in this case, it's accusative. In montes, in is a preposition, and so the form that follows it, es, is also accusative. Anytime you see a word like montes following a preposition like in, you can assume it's accusative. So you just construe it with the preposition into the mountains. Inter is also a preposition, means between or among. And the form that comes after it is also accusative with a long vowel and then an S. Among them, you could say, or even between them. Aineas, the S form is sometimes the nominative singular ending. Okay, we'll see more forms of that later on. Princeps. So here you see the nominative singular, accusative singular, nominative plural, accusative plural, which are identical. So in this case, you can see princeps is nominative singular of these four forms. Okay. Troianus also ends in an S with a U before it. This is how it's the forms go. Troianus is nominative singular, Troianum, accusative singular, Troiani, accusative nominative plural, Troianos, accusative plural. So treannus will be the subject. Patrem, you can tell pretty much by the M that this is going to be accusative. It's going to be either the object of a verb, or it's going to be the object of some word like in. So in patrem, which would mean against father. Uxorem. Again, the M is a giveaway that this is accusative. Here are the forms: uxor, nominative singular; uxorem, as you see here, accusative singular, and then the ambiguous forms, uxores. We'll get to them later. Parvum. So with the M, it's a clear indication this is accusative singular. Parvus would be nominative singular. That would be the subject. Parvum would be the accusative singular. Filium, same explanation. A flammis. A is a preposition, so this is a prepositional phrase. And the singular, this is a particular form of a noun called the ablative, or if you want to be fussy about it, it's the ablative case. In the plural, it's flammis, out of the flames. If there were only one flame, it would be a flamma, which would be sort of silly. But never mind. Adamontes. Adamontes, sorry about that. The singular nominative is mons. See, the S alone shows you it's nominative singular. Montem, with the M on the end, shows you it's accusative singular. But these two forms, the nominative plural and accusative plural, are ambiguous. That is, you can't tell which is which. As I told you before, per se, that is when they are by themselves, with no context. Okay. You can disambiguate a word like montes, that is, resolve the ambiguity, by asking a few simple questions. For example, is the verb in the sentence plural? Does it end in nt? That is, if so, montes could be the subject, even if it's a silly sentence like ambulant. The mountains are walking, which is a little silly, as I say. But another way you can help disambiguate a word like montes is to see if an adjective is modifying it. So in the example below here, if the mountains are large, you would have magnos montes, whereas montes might be nominative or might be accusative. Magnos can only be accusative. So in this case it would, since they agree, we say agree, adjective plus noun, we say agree in three respects: case, number, gender. If the noun is accusative, the adjective must also be accusative. If the noun is plural, the adjective must also be plural. If the noun is masculine, as it is here, sorry, killing flies, then the adjective must match that. But in the other case, if the verb is not plural, then montes must be accusative. Alii is a plural nominative, as you see here. Singular would be alius, plural alii. Adamontes. Ad is another preposition, to in the direction of, or for a goal. Adamontes, toward the mountains. So this one has to be accusative, because you can't have a nominative noun coming after a preposition. That's an impossibility. Omnes. Omnes could be nominative or accusative in the plural. If it were singular, that wouldn't be so. In the nominative, it could only they would be different from the accusative. Omnis, singular; omnem, accusative, singular. Troia. Troia is unambiguous and can only be nominative singular, as you see here. Incensa is an adjective modifying Troia, burned. So incensa, since Troia is feminine, you have to use the feminine form of the adjective because it has to agree in gender. And since the noun is nominative, Troia, the adjective is also accusative, is also nominative, incensa, Troia. Nos is a pronoun. Sorry. The nominative singular would be ego, I. The accusative singular is me, me. Nominative plural and accusative plural are the same, whereas in English they would be different. We is how we would translate the nominative plural, and us is how we would translate the accusative plural. Troiani, C doesn't fit either of the singular forms, but the plural forms. Troiani is nominative or plural, and Troianos is accusative plural, so this would be the correct form, nominative plural. That is, it's likely to be the subject. Novam, because of the M, is must be accusative. At least that's my story. Troiam, same story as before. In alia terra, in is a preposition, and so they use, for the second time now, you've seen this, the ablative or ablative case, which follows a lot of prepositions in Latin. So here, if you want to say he is on the ground, you would say in terra, on the ground. At least in this book. If you wanted to say he is going into the ground, you'd have to say it this way. In terram, like that. Okay. They have different meanings. Ili is nominative singular. The forms are a little strange. He, ille, is he. Illum is him. Ili, we would translate as they. Illos as them. So he, him, and in the plural, they, them. Eine am, with this ending, must be accusative, either the object of a preposition or the direct object. Laeti must be nominative. So laetus, be nominative singular. Laetum, accusative singular. Laeti, nominative plural. Laetos, accusative plural. Montes, we talked about before, could, by form, so you could say formally, it could be nominative or accusative plural. In context, of course, it can't be both. It can only be one or the other. So you have to look at the context, as I showed you above. Ad oram, again a preposition begun by ad. So oram, prepositional phrase, meaning to the shore, showing the direction they're going in. Naves are ships. Okay? No way to know formally whether it's nominative or accusative. Okay, so you have to look at the context. Point 1, if the verb ends in nt, like navigant, you could have a sentence that says, the ships sail, I guess. Okay. If the verb ends in just t or some other ending, a singular ending, then it can't be the subject. It has to be the object or the object of a preposition. Ab urbe Troia. Ab is a preposition that can only have an ablative or an ablative noun following it. So you don't even have to know the morphology of these two words. It must be ablative. Ab urbe Troia, from the city Troy. In terras incognitas. This is in its sense of into. And you have correspondingly the accusative plural, incognitas. That's a mistake. Both are long. Into unknown lands. In undis. In could mean in or into, so you have to look to the ending to see if it's which one it is. In this case, the accusative plural would be undas. The ablative plural would be undis, as we see here. Undis, undis. So it means in the waves. In undas would mean into the waves. Multos, this is the long os is the accusative plural, and so could be either the direct object modifying the direct object, or by itself it can mean many men. So it would be that form, or it could follow a preposition. Labores is ambiguous, either accusative or nominative, or accusative plural. You can't tell just by looking at it without a context. With a context, you have to be able to tell. And in this case, it goes with multos labores. That is, labores is modified by multos, many labors, many. We'll stick with labors, many labors. Labor is a masculine noun, and so it's modified by a masculine, an adjective with a masculine ending. And since this can only be accusative plural, as we showed you before, can only be accusative plural, you can tell that labores is accusative plural in this case. So it's masculine accusative plural. In Italian, into Italy, and urbem meaning city. Okay, that's all for now.